Hi and welcome to In the Front Row, all things reactions, reviews and interviews. My name's Jamie Lee and today I'll be doing a review of The Last of Us episode 7 titled Left Behind. So straight up we see Joel alive. Yay. Didn't think he was dead, but this show has surprised me in other ways before, so I wasn't really too sure on what to expect at all with that. I mean, he's not in a good way. He's been shanked, he's lost a lot of blood, he's breathing heavily, he's probably freezing to death, so he's not in good shape, and he knows it because he forcibly tells Ellie to leave.
Leave. Leave.
Joel, shut the fuck up!
Go. You go.
Incredibly sad, and it's equally as sad seeing him scared, terrified, alone, feeling like he's going to die alone, and seeing him shed a tear because we see Ellie head towards the door to leave him behind, hence the title. Or so we think, because thankfully she doesn't. We just get the opening of our flashback scene. I love this flashback. It was a little insight into Ellie's life prior to meeting Joel and Tess, and we got to see her at a school, you know, training to be under Fedra's system. We got to see her in a fight. We got to see her get a black eye and get a lecture from Captain Kwong. And I feel like that lecture was really important because it not only told us a little bit more about Fedra and the system, but it also gave us an insight into how Ellie's life could have become. She could have been a shit kicker, or she could have taken control and been a leader, because obviously he saw something in her. You know, she's a smart girl, she's educated, she's a smart ass, sure, but she's smart. And so he was basically saying, you know, make a choice. What are you going to be in life? Are you going to be nothing, or are you going to be a leader? And I feel like that conversation really led to what happened at the very end of the episode, where she did become a leader. She took control and she did it. So hopefully she did it well. We'll soon find out in the next episode, but I feel like that was a really important speech there. Anyway, so she doesn't get grounded. She heads back to her room. The camera pans over to see the bed that's empty, where clearly somebody was supposed to be, but they're not. And we find out who that is not too long later, because during the night, Ellie's best friend Riley sneaks on in. Not the type of best friend that you really want to hang around, just creeping on in the middle of the night, like holding you captive. Very scary. But anyway, she is a pretty good best friend.
Who gave you the black eye? Give me a name and I'll fuck him up.
It was Bethany, and I already fucked her up.
Cute. So she tells Ellie that she's joined the Fireflies, who are the same people that they are learning to fight or protect themselves against, defend themselves against, depending on what perspective you look at it. They're the enemy, basically. And she has now joined that team. So after dropping that bombshell, she proposes to give Ellie
the best night of your life,
which ironically probably becomes the worst night of her life by the end of the episode. So Ellie goes with Riley to the Mall of Wonders, and getting there was absolutely beautiful in my opinion. I fell in love with these scenes, maybe because it took me back to when I was playing the Avengers game as Kamala Khan, and you were jumping like from building to building trying to escape from aim, but also it looked amazing in this. Like, it looked so cool. They're just jumping from rooftop to rooftop, but the creative angles that were used were amazing. It looked so good, and it really took me back to episode 2 when Tess and Joel and Ellie obviously went to the rooftop, and she was so fluid and just comfortable with going across that ladder, where we had that also beautiful sight as well. I remember the cinematography in that one looked really good. So yeah, anyway, so she was jumping across from the rooftop and everything seemed so fluid, and yeah, that reminded me, this episode reminded me of that. I don't know if that was a callback or if that's just my brain overthinking, which it does. Anyway, that looked good. Then we get to the mall, and that was stunning. I was like, the world building in this, it just looks great. It looks like, I don't know if it was an abandoned shopping center, and it just reminded me of all these fantasies that I was going to say people, but maybe normal people don't have these things, but you know, just being stuck with your friends or whoever you want in this abandoned shopping center or in like abandoned theme park. Like, the whole place is stunning and it's yours. You can do whatever you want in it. It just looks fun. It looked beautiful. The lighting, the music was on point. It really felt like you're in a games room, you know, at the arcade, things like that. I loved it. I thought it really looked beautiful. I've mentioned in my other reviews that I absolutely love the scenes where we get to see Ellie experience things for the first time, or experience seeing things for the first time. Be it the tank that she wanted to see, be it an airplane, riding in a car, all of those moments where she experiences them things that she's never done before and never seen before, they make me happy. I feel really happy watching those scenes. And this week's episode was no different. We see Ellie go on the merry-go-round. I think you guys call it a carousel, but whatever, we call it a merry-go-round. She went on that and it was so beautiful to just see her so happy. Likewise, when she went to the photo booth, she's probably never had her photo taken before, ever. She went to the arcade and played Mortal Kombat. She went to a Halloween shop and got to dress up. These are things that she's probably never experienced before, and they were a lot of fun to watch her experience them for the first time. In this episode, we get the confirmation that has been hinted at throughout other episodes that Ellie is into chicks. In another episode, we saw her toss out the porn magazine with the man on it. She's like, eh. And then in episode 2, I think it was, she was talking to Tess, and Tess was like, so do you have a boyfriend back home? And she's like, no. So you got the hint that she was into girls, but this episode confirmed it, and they did it in a beautiful way. You didn't need to overdo it. All you needed was Bella Ramsey. She was phenomenal. Her acting in this was flawless. Her looks towards Riley to show that she had a crush on her. Her looks to show that she was happy. Her looks to show that she cared. Her looks to show that she was doubting herself and her appearance and her self-worth, or how someone else viewed her who she wants to have a high opinion of. She wants Riley to look at her the same way that she looks at Riley. She wants Riley to love her the way that she loves Riley. So all that was expressed not through dialogue, not through scenes of what they were doing, purely through Bella Ramsey's performance. Her facial features, her expressions, just her looks alone were phenomenal. Anyway, let me get back to the story. So Riley tells Ellie that she has been posted out with the Fireflies, so this is their last night together. She gives Ellie the gift of the pun book, and obviously Ellie doesn't take that too well because she doesn't want her to leave. So they have this huge fight. Ellie leaves, and then she regrets that decision like most people would, and comes back. They apologize, put some music on, put on some Halloween costumes, and dance the night away to be happy. And then it was such a proud moment, I guess you could say. Ellie took a chance on love. So romantic of me to put it like that. She didn't really take any chances on love. It was their last night together. She wasn't going to regret anything because she wasn't going to be there tomorrow anyway. So anyway, I don't know where I'm going with that. So my point is, Ellie experienced something else for the first time, which was really, really cute. She took a chance and she kissed Riley. Together, they are happy in their little love bubble, even if it's just for a moment. And then a zombie comes out. Still don't even know if I'm allowed to call them that, but I am. Anyway, it comes out and attacks them. You don't actually see the attack. You see Ellie badass as F come across with her knife and just stab it in the head. One shot, might add, just like straight up, got him. Anyway, so she does that. And I thought, oh my God, we didn't actually see them get bit. Maybe the show's playing tricks on us. They want us to think left and we look right. I don't know, but I thought this isn't going to be as predictable as that I expected it to be. But no, it was predictable because Ellie got bit. And then Riley confesses that she got bit on the hand as well. And just seeing them scared for a moment was sad. You know, it just hits you that these are kids. And the scenes after that, man, oh my gosh, broken. I feel like all this show ever wants to do is just keep breaking my heart. And that's what they did. You know, you're looking at these two kids who just wanted an innocent night out, a lot of fun. And then they're sitting there at the end of the episode deciding on what is the best option of death. And that is so bleak and so dark and really depressing. It was literally them just crying together, holding hands and just embracing each other. And it was very, very sad. They then transition from the flashback to the present day, where Ellie is rummaging through this abandoned house looking for anything to patch Joel up. And then she heads back down and they show that. Gross. So disgusting. But before we see her patch him up, we get this moment that just made me melt. I talk about this heartbreak all the time and how this show breaks my heart, but in these moments, they stick it back together. They just crush it back together and hold it there just for a little bit, even if it's only for like 5 seconds. But it's there for 5 seconds and it's whole for 5 fucking seconds of beauty. And that's exactly what we got because they were holding hands. So at the end of the flashback scene, you see Ellie holding Riley's hand as she's, I guess, leaving her behind, whether it be Riley dies, whether she has to kill Riley in the end. I'm not too sure what happens. Hopefully we get to see that, but, or maybe not, because I kind of don't want to see that if I'm being honest with you there. But anyway, we see a similar scenario with Joel. Ellie holds his hand like, I'm going to be with you. If you're dying, I'm going to be here. I'm not leaving you. I'm not leaving you behind. Ah, makes me so sad just getting in there, just even thinking about that. Anyway, she's not leaving him behind. She's holding his hand and he holds her hand back. It's just so nice. I just thought what a gorgeous moment to show us how they've progressed with this relationship, and obviously how important that flashback scene was to show us how Ellie has progressed from that. You know, like it's the same thing. She's going through these same scenarios again, and yeah, just to see the difference in them, hopefully the difference in them was really, really beautiful. So this was a good episode. It was good to see Ellie's life prior to meeting Joel and Tess, and the ending of it, as I said, I thought that was totally beautiful, and it made my heart feel full, even if it was just for a short amount of time. But I've got to be honest and say that this episode was not my favorite. If I'm being 100% honest, it was probably my least favorite episode, and that's not because it wasn't good. That's not because I didn't enjoy it. It's purely because I feel like some of the things that the camera was focusing on were not really relevant to me anyway. So when it focused on like the Mortal Kombat posters or posters in general, or the cassettes or books or things like that, I feel like these are things that would be like collectibles in the game. Like, you know, you would go around to try and find the cassette, or I don't know, something like that. Like I feel like the significance of them was from the game. And as someone who hasn't played the game, I didn't really appreciate it as much as someone who has played the game would have. For example, I thought it was a little bit drawn out, took too long. Even though I said those scenes were gorgeous, the ones that I'm about to talk about, and they were stunning, when they were jumping across rooftop to rooftop, I was like, this is going on a little bit too long. And again, it's probably because in the game, like that might have been something that took forever and was really hard to do. I know that when I was playing the Avengers one, it took me forever to do, maybe because I'm a shit player, I don't know. But anyway, I feel like a lot of it had significance towards people who have played the game. I don't feel like I appreciated it as much as someone who has played the game would have, but that's not to say that it was a bad episode. And I feel like if I'm trying to defend myself here, a lot of it is probably because I'm so used to the relationship between Joel and Ellie and building that relationship up that there was not as much of that, but a lot of it was building a new relationship, and that's something that maybe my brain just needed to get used to. I'm not too sure, but either way, I did enjoy the episode, but it wasn't my favorite. But the cinematography was on point. Last week's episode was my favorite visually wise. I thought last week's episode was stunning. This week was pretty damn close. Everything was really on point. Music, sound, lighting, all of it looked great. But the acting in this, specifically from Bella Ramsey, just blew my mind. Like, she went to a different level in this episode. I'm so proud of her, and it looked really good. And because of that, I really was in this episode 100%, even though it was my least favorite. Have you guys watched this episode? Let me know what you think in the comments. Am I just being dramatic here, or was this your least favorite episode as well? I don't know. Let me know. Anyway, if you could, please give this video a like. And if you're not already, please subscribe to my channel, and then head on over to my Instagram and give me a follow over there as well, please. Okay, sweet as. Have a good day. Bye.